What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 101 of my Tracksuit to the Top series here with Lewis FC in the Premier League. Hopefully you guys are good. Before we start this episode, I just want to give a massive thank you to you guys who watched episode 100. If you missed it for whatever reason, it'll be in the playlist or you can just find it on my channel. It was a 100-minute episode, which is one of the reasons why I haven't uploaded another episode in the last 2 days. I wanted a chance to make sure everyone could watch the video all the way through, and I kind of felt like if I was to upload another video immediately, it might detract somewhat from that video. So if you missed that video and you want to see my face in kind of a face cam and also watch an hour and a half almost, or over an hour and a half of this series, that is the video to go check out. And yeah, a massive thank you to you guys who did watch it and drop a like. So anyway, you may notice today, no face cam. I will use the face cam from time to time. It's the kind of thing I might just drop in and out of some of my FM videos. For example, today, I've not done my hair, not done anything. Not that I did my hair for the other video, but I look like deaf today. So I've spared you the privilege of having to stare at death, which hopefully is good. Anyway, today we're playing Newcastle. It's actually not been too many games since the last episode, but Newcastle had a really bright start to the season. They're currently in 5th, and this is kind of a big game in terms of our season to really hopefully help us continue to pursue the teams at the top. So we're going to be looking for a win today. Worth noting that after 5 games, no one team has gone unbeaten. Liverpool have played an extra game which they lost, so they've played 6, won 5, lost 1. If we were to win, we'd go equal on points with them. If we can win by more than 2, we'd actually go ahead of them on goal difference. So anyway, yeah, today there's not too much to tell you guys about. We did play 1 game since the last episode. It was a good win against West Ham. We beat them in a penalty shootout. Not particularly convincing. It was a game that we dominated for the most part. Matthew Lewis opening the scoring after 2 minutes. Joel Campbell getting a goal back for them after 92. He doesn't look that great, Joel Campbell, but he plays for West Ham and he's done quite a good job for them, really. But good to see Matthew Lewis, of course, add to his goal-scoring tally. And if you watched last episode, you'll know how huge he started off the season. But anyway, I think what we're going to do today really is dive straight into this game. There's only a few players missing from the team. Pedrera is currently out with an injury that he sustained last episode. He's out for just under a week. We also have Vladimir Orlando still coming back from injury. That was another injury that kind of incurred whilst we were live coming last episode. And Reitmeier, not currently in the best condition. Slowly kind of getting him back to full fitness because he was injured for a little while. So he will miss out today. In terms of today's team, nothing too crazy here. We go with Kouakou in goal. We go with Mike Morris, who new signing, of course, at centre-back. He's done an okay kind of start, I guess. 7.08 average rating. Alongside him we have Joe Manning, who he signed from Man City. He's had a pretty good start to the year too. 6.8 rating, but he's looked fairly solid. And then Carlini, who got injured a few games ago, has been a little bit iffy, error prone, I guess you could say, across his last few games. He had a few mistakes against Man City, but you can see his average rating is still 7.35, which really highlights that he has played well against the smaller teams, so I'm hoping he'll be able to step up for a big game like the one we have today. Looking at his average rating through his season, you can see here they've never been great, but I'm hoping that he can continue to improve. He's joined us from Rome, a £27 million player, and I'm optimistic he'll do a job for it. In midfield, it's kind of standard. With Pedrera missing, I've moved Sonogo to left wing, and then we bring in China to play that centre attacking mid-role for us. And then in the final third, we go with Jeff, the new kind of signing, who is actually improving already, which is really pleasing. And he'll be playing alongside Matthew Lewis. Jeff, 2 goals and 3 assists in 4 starts. That is a fantastic start to his career at the club. 7.5 average rating for him. And last but not least, Matthew Lewis, 8.78 average rating. 12 goals in 5 in the league. 19 in 9 in all competitions. More than a goal a game right now. So I'm hoping he'll get some goals for us today. In terms of Newcastle, who we play, last season they actually finished 16th. So I want to say they're overperforming. But to be honest, prior to that, they had some pretty solid kind of finishes, kind of largely finishing just inside the top half of the table. So they have quite a good team. They've got Julian Green, so I know we have some American viewers. You'll be pleased to know that he's playing in the Premier League at a reasonable level. He doesn't actually look incredible, but he's apparently their key player. They still have Nathaniel Klein playing for them at 33. He's lost a degree of his speed. And they've also got AU here, Andre Ayew, who's the left winger, I think, and centre mid naturally. His physicals are somewhat on the decline as he's hitting old age, but he's still a kind of important player for them, the captain. So yeah, I don't think there's anything really to talk about, just because last episode was such a comprehensive episode. I kind of talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I guess I could show you guys the training real quick. So look at the training here. We're currently focused on fitness. To be honest, usually in the preseason I'd put this on team cohesion or tactical, but I must have just forgotten. But with us playing a lot of games and with me being hesitant to rotate the team too much, I like to play or train fitness just to make sure players' conditions recovering nice and fast. In terms of other stuff, generally the squad's quite happy with training. Just 2 players unhappy with what's going on, Bradal and Lacey. Bradal just seems to moan about training no matter what, unfortunately. But other than that, the players are fairly happy with training. In terms of our team training, you can see the focuses here looking fairly solid. And then our individual training here, there's some here that I've still not assigned, so I'm going to do them really quickly now because I'm an idiot. These should have been done like a month or 2 ago. And if you don't do your training manually, make sure you have got your assistant doing it, because if you haven't, well, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage really. But anyway, that's our training sorted. In terms of coaching setup, I don't think I've covered this in a little while. If you want to pause it and have a look, you can. All in all, coaching looks pretty solid across the board. There's a few categories which are only 4-star that I'm hoping are going to improve. But you know what, we'll kind of see how things go. And hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, we might be able to improve some of these areas in the coming year. But all in all, it's not too bad of a setup we have. In terms of our scouts, just so you guys can see a little bit about it here, we have a lot of scouts, a little bit of diversity in terms of where they are based. And then they are all out on assignments, I do believe. You can see here where we have a knowledge of... complete knowledge of North America, incidentally, which is a little bit strange. World knowledge is widespread, but we have some pretty good like kind of nation coverage. You can see here the nations that we know about, which is not too shabby. And then if we look on assignments, you can see where I've got all my scouts based. So generally, I'll send them to regions looking for hot prospects, as well as some of the top European leagues and a few guys going to certain regions to find players. I don't focus too much on Asia, just because there's so few players there. I find it more effective and a better kind of source of resources, I guess, just to scout it manually by going through the national teams and some of the bigger clubs there if there's something I really want to know. So that's a little bit about that, but hopefully that clears things up. Apparently my knowledge of kind of South and Western Europe isn't that great. Might look into that a little bit, so that might get changed. But yeah, that's kind of that. In terms of players scouted, I scout loads of players. People do not realise that I basically send my scouts out just scouting whoever, in the hope that some of these guys might come good. You'll see if I just scroll through these, we have players from really random nations that might or might not be good, just because I'll send my scouts there once to get me a basic knowledge, and then I'll make the judgment for myself. But I talked a little bit about last episode how I go for all different nations. You can see how that kind of adds up here when you've got like, what's that, about 15 Honduran players scouted, Icelandic players scouted. I can't really tell you how important that is, just to basically make sure that you are scouting players that might be of use to you. And obviously a lot of this comes down to just making sure your scouting is set up correctly and you're covering the right regions. But anyway, that's a little bit about that. I could do a video on scouting in the future, but there isn't that much to it. It's just about making sure your scouts are put in the right regions, really, and that you just ensure you keep up to date with what's going on in the world of football. But anyway, I guess that's enough rambling for one episode, just talking about some stuff that perhaps I don't normally cover. So let's get into today's game, which is going to be against Newcastle. Incidentally, one thing I just noticed then is the entirety of my midfield is wanted by other teams. I have no intention to sell any of these players, but we have got players like Sonogo and Leon who have attracted some quite big interest. A few people have asked me, Jack, how are you kind of, I guess, fending off other teams from coming in for your players? And to be honest, the way I'm doing that is just by setting the asking price as high as you possibly can in-game. And the reason I'm doing that is because teams do not match those valuations, or at least in my experience, I've never seen the maximum you can set matched. And I don't know, since the Christmas update, it doesn't seem like players complain too much about their asking price being set too high. So in the case of Lewis, I've had teams like PSG and stuff interested. I've kind of just denied all the rumours that ever came up, and then set his asking price to like 100 or 120 million. and teams just never, actually put in a formal bid. But anyway, good start there. I think that was Lewis with the assist, and then Jeff with the rebound. He was loving it. 8 minutes in, and we have a pretty good start to the game. A game that I was a little bit nervous about, perhaps. A little apprehensive of. But Sonogo with the ball in from the left-hand side is not normal kind of position. Lewis with the nod down, then Jeff on the volley. A lovely move there, a great finish as well. Good to see Lewis kind of turning provider. It's been a bit of a one-way relationship, Jeff setting up Lewis. But good to see the favour returned right there as we are on the attack again here. Looking at the stats, we are dominating this game. And Jeff is threaded through and he scores again. Maybe we are going to have two heroes up front for us in Lewis and Jeff. Could this be the start of something beautiful? Maybe. Manning there with a nice bit of play. Then China actually with the ball through. China, of course, a player who is a really good creative player. Doesn't start for me as much as perhaps he should and could. He came off the bench in the Champions League final, some of you guys might remember. And I think he got 1 or 2 assists that game. But yeah, he can certainly pick out a pass, although we are going to need to defend her as Klein whips in the ball and Newcastle with a chance hits the crossbar. Did that just hit Kouakou on the back having hit the crossbar? I think it did. And so Newcastle score with a shot that wasn't on target. I dread to think what this is going to look like in 3D. So it hits the crossbar, Kouakou getting up and he can't stop it hitting his back and going in. It's a comical goal. And perhaps if it was a more intense game, this is the bit where I'd start screaming and blaming the match engine instead of kind of just accepting that it could happen for either team. But either way, we are still winning 2-1, so we'll look at this with an air of positivity. Although the free kick's in, Kouakou parries it, and, well, Newcastle with 2 shots on target and 2 goals to their name. Oh dear. Maybe that goal will come back to haunt me and I'll just blame that entirely for the loss. That is not good. Lopez with the free kick and then just no one responds. No one reacts and it's an easy tapping in the end for Newcastle. And after 35 minutes we are back all square, although Sonogo, free kick specialist, edge of the area, you know the end result. What a strike. That was quite close to the 18-yard box. Not a lot of room to get it up and over the wall, but Sonogo hits them with power. I'm looking forward to seeing this in 3D. Not much of a run out up. His trademark goal, and he just hammers it, really. He doesn't float it. He doesn't dink it over the wall from that range. He just hits it hard and flat, and it goes straight in. And what a goal that was, although we need to be wary here. We've already given up a 2-goal lead. We don't want to do that again, having fought for another lead. And we are applying some quite high pressure here against Newcastle, who are going to find a few passes. And Altita bring it down the right-hand side. Only one man in the box for him to pick out, but that is a good ball in. And, well, Carlini, I think, has just tugged on Lopez's shirt, is what he's done there, because the ref has given a penalty. And, well, we've shot ourselves in the foot. You could say we did that for the second goal, conceding the free kick. But even more so for this goal. Newcastle with a chance to make it 3-3. Can Kouakou come big? He can't. Hughes with the goal. Will Hughes, his first ever goal for Newcastle. I believe he signed for them in the summer from Southampton. And he pegs us back again, making it 3-3. Kouakou goes the right way, but just can't quite extend a hand out. And Newcastle, perhaps slightly undeservedly, are back in this game at 3-3. I was worried that this game wouldn't be the best game to live come, especially so soon after the previous episode, but I'm glad I have, because it's turning into a bit of a thriller. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy with what they've done. Carlini, I questioned him before, and I'm actually going to take him off at half-time, or just after half-time. That is shocking. What was his rating? A 4.8? I know that one bad mistake kind of plays into his average rating extremely heavily in terms of the fact he gave away the penalty, but we're going to take him off. Bring on Harian, and hopefully our players can now switch on as we are on the attack here. We're going to need to score at least 1 more for the win, although looking at how we've been defensively, 3 might not be enough in this second half. As Newcastle will dispossess us, and now Lopez on his own going to try and hit us on the counter. And this is one hell of a run that he's pulled off. Tita now on the right-hand side already whipped in one ball that caused a struggle and led to the penalty. But right there, he's squandered a chance for Newcastle. He's smashed it way, way wide. And the scores remain at 3-3 in a game that we are dominating. But we're yet to really make the difference, and we're yet to kind of change things. Although Sonogo with a chance here whips it into Morris, but it's offside. I'm not even celebrating, Mike. You've got to watch your line. You started in an offside position. Snogo with the ball in would have been an assist for him, having already got a goal, but I need to change something. And I'm going to look to the bench, I think, to do that. Looking at the average ranks, it's been pretty poor across the board, especially defensively. Our midfield's looking a little bit worse for wear, so I'm going to make a double change. I'm going to bring Jada on to play advanced playmaker, and I'm also going to take off Mihal for Batagelli, just so that we can get some fresh legs in the defensive midfielder department, but also get Jada on, who has a bit of goal-scoring prowess, perhaps a little more so than China, but is also quite a good creative player. But time is ticking away here. I think we have to change something. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw men forward. Is what we're going to do, I think. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw men forward because we have to, not because I want to. So we'll go with this. I'm going to play more direct. And I'm also going to change Jeff to an advanced forward attack. We're going to try pumping the ball into the box, I think. We're going to play a lot more direct, much higher tempo, close down more. Try and stretch them wide perhaps as well and exploit the flanks and then try and get the ball into the middle. Play to our strengths. Hopefully Martinez and Snogo can put in a big shift here. They are both a little bit fatigued. But with 5 minutes left, we really need to go for this win. A draw here would be bitterly disappointing, particularly in the manner we've conceded our goals, although there is a chance here. Ball whipped in by Martinez. Snogo, back post, headers it in. Get in, my son. Eric Snogo, third goal of the season, 90th minute goal. And suddenly now we have to change everything back to what it was before. I want us to sit deeper, boys. I want us to just play defensive, and that'll do me. See out this result. 1 minute left. A great win. A great result. We rolled the dice massively throwing some men forward. It's a bit of a precarious situation perhaps to throw men forward. Oh no, Julian Green don't. Okay. Panic over. Thought he was about to score to just make me eat my words. What I was going to say was it was a big risk to change his attacking as we did, but stick with the three at the back. But that is... that's worked for us. The subs did have a little bit of an impact. So not a massive impact, but... Well, Sonogo's got the winner with 2 goals, but Martinez with 2 assists is worth kind of applauding, I guess. And also Jeff with his 2 goals too. Not the most convincing performance, but we get a win after a massive kind of fight back by Newcastle. I was worried that we were going to have to settle for the draw, but with 5 minutes left, I just... changed a few things up, looked to exploit the flanks, and it worked for us. Martinez pumping the ball into the box, Sonogo on the other flank having cut inside and dropped into the back post because he was set more attacking, getting us the goal. And it's quite rewarding in FM when you see a change that you've kind of instructed directly make an impact as we have there. And that is a very, very big win for us. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up for this episode, guys. In terms of when I will see you guys next time, I'm not entirely sure. I might do the Man City game as the next game. We have got Arsenal coming up before too long, but because of the amount of live comms I've done, I might not do the game against them, although they are right up there in the table. If you guys want to see that Arsenal game, let me know in the comments. I know some people love to see me just get through seasons in 4 or 5 episodes. To be honest, I like taking my time with them. I like taking you through the roller coaster of emotions. This is a game that I perhaps wouldn't have live commed if I wanted to just plough through episodes, but at the same time I kind of feel like it allows you guys as viewers, I guess, to relate to the save a little bit more and I guess the adventure and the highs and lows of a Premier League season. But anyway, yeah, that wraps things up for me. If you've enjoyed this episode, guys, as always, smash the like button. If you've got to this point in the video and you didn't watch last episode and kind of you're like, oh, it's 100 minutes, I don't want to watch it, go watch it. It's worth it, I promise you. Even if you just want to stare and look at my face, which would be a little bit weird for 100 minutes, but I will let you off because I am a 9 out of 10, of course, in the looks department. But anyway, that wraps things up from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. If you're new here, subscribe. And other than that, it is me, Jack. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.